Welcome to QCC's Face the Region. Face the Region is produced by Quinsigamond Community College to assist our region in attaining educational, economic, and personal prosperity. Now, here's your host, WCRN's Hank Stoltz.
Good afternoon, I'm Hank Stoltz, and this is QCC's Face the Region, and today we're with our good friends from PTK here on campus. We're going to be talking about their Fall 2016 Cookout. Joining us, we have Kimberly May, who is the president. Also, Samuel is with us. Samuel Nessenthaler from the Greenhouse Committee is here with us as well. Christine Sherman's one of the officers. John Snyder, one of the officers as well. And Mary Sylvester is with us. And Mary, you have now become the communications director, so congratulations since the last time that we talked with the members of Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society here. Kimberly, let me start with you, if I could. Just quickly maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, the president, what PTK does, and then we'll start to talk about the cookout.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly May, and I am the 2016-2017 Alpha Zeta Theta Chapter President. I have been with Phi Theta Kappa since 2012, and speaking for me personally, it has been an extremely wonderful and transforming experience for me. The community service work that we do, as well as the network opportunities, like I said, has just been really transforming. So I'm very thankful for the opportunities that have been afforded me.
Fantastic. The cookout is something that you do each year?
Yes. So the annual Fall Charity Cookout is an event that we hold every year. It's one of our big fundraisers. And what we usually do as an officer team is we try to find a worthy cause either within the community or here on campus to raise funds for. And so this year here, we had decided to help fund a greenhouse initiative that we are working on. We're very excited about it. It has been a plan in the works for the last 3 years, and we hope to have a fully functioning greenhouse in place by next summer.
Oh, great. All right. So, Sam, we introduced you as being on the Greenhouse Committee, so that seems like your cue to tell us a little bit about what the greenhouse is going to be.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity for students to learn about research projects and bring an interdisciplinary approach to the school. So people from any academic field, be psychology, be engineering, any of the STEM, are able to come to this greenhouse and explore and learn. It's an ability to take awareness for, we don't know how to plant a carrot anymore. We live in a city that doesn't have any nature left. So we're learning just basic ideas, more complex ideas. Can we make our own nutrients? Can we grow hydroponically? Can we grow with soil? What are better methods? How do we take theory, like thermodynamics? How do we take mathematics and start to apply it to this project?
Well, that's fantastic. So the greenhouse is, so the funds from the cookout will go to building the greenhouse, or the greenhouse is already being built?
You want
No, go ahead.
Okay. So the greenhouse is actually going to be made from, we have a structure located in the back of our building, and the plan is to transform that small structure into a fully functional greenhouse. So the funds that we raise from this cookout will be to help fund that, as well as help sustain it.
Well, I like what Samuel had to say, the fact that we, I guess for most of us, we just go to the store now, we buy our carrots, and so there's our carrots in a bag. I guess there are probably some of us who assume that they just always are in that bag, and that that's the way that you get them, and to actually pull them out of the ground. Oh, they grow in the ground? You got to be kidding me. But now people will be able to see this. I was curious also about the fact that, you know, as you talked about, Samuel, and then we'll be meeting some of our other good friends here from PTK. But this isn't really a course. This is really for simply everybody at QCC to be able to take part in the greenhouse.
Absolutely. We're looking to get students to start to think about really, really interesting questions and how to go about answering those questions. How do we develop a hypothesis? Can we prove this hypothesis? are we able to take a student and have them think of, well, I want to grow hydroponically with lettuce, and how would I do that? And by this approach, they get to research it, get to read about it, look into it, and then develop a documentation for that. And that documentation will then be passed down to the next generation of students that will be entering into this project. And they have a full platform, and then they can just pick up and conclude it, or they could go further in depth with it and start to talk about nutrients, water management, environmental abilities.
But you'll be able to come back 10, 20, 30 years from now. That greenhouse will still be going. A whole new generation of students will be using it.
Hopefully. We're hoping to actually expand it. So this is a pilot program. Mm-hmm. So we're proving to the school and we're proving to the faculty and the students that this is sustainable. This can happen. Mm-hmm. And once it happens, what's the next step? So we're in production for maybe a year, possibly 2 years, and then hopefully we'll be able to go to a bigger location.
Well, I think it sounds fantastic. As always, PTK getting involved, making sure that it happens too. So congratulations to you guys. Which, Christine, I think brings us to the kind of where we're going to start here for our conversation, and that is, what is the cookout itself, and what are some of the events that are going to be taking place at the cookout?
Well, this year at the cookout, we're going to have obviously lots of food. From hamburgers to hot dogs, chips, soda, table talk pies. Those have all are going to be up for sale. And then we're going to have live entertainment. We're going to have the QCC Jazz Quartet, as well as DJ Jazzy James. He is coming back this year for round 2. Let's see.
DJ Jazzy James, always a favorite, not to be confused with DJ Jazzy Jeff, who hung out with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So that's great. So some great entertainment, but as you said, also just a lot of food. The whole campus comes to this?
Yeah, everyone is welcome to come to the cookout. It is being held from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. It has been postponed to Wednesday, October 5th. Unfortunately, it is supposed to rain, or it will.
Yeah, no, I mean, right, the 1 week, I mean, we're in the midst of this horrible drought. Mm-hmm. Everybody is talking about the drought, and the 1 week where rain was predicted, unfortunately, is when the cookout was originally scheduled to go, but I'm sure October 5th will be just fine. You know what, John, let me just continue a little bit more with what the cookout is, about the students coming, about some of the entertainment is going to be there, and about how some of these funds are going to be raised that are going to go to this greenhouse project.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that one of the just to clear up like a misconception is that, like, yeah, as many other people have said, is that it's not the Phi Theta Kappa exclusive cookout. A lot of the profit taken from the cookout is actually from faculty and staff and like their families, and students are all welcome. One thing that we're kind of doing in terms of, like, you know, raising funds and whatnot is that we're actually going to be holding a raffle during the cookout, and a lot of prizes are going to be offered. I personally was driving around earlier today picking up stuff. I picked up a $20 gift card for the Mill Restaurant on West Boylston Street, and I also picked up a 30-minute session voucher for Revitalize Massage, which is actually right down the street from the college.
Excellent. You know what? We're going to start with Mary, the communications director, in just a moment as we return on QCC's Face the Region, talking about this cookout. The whole campus is going to be there. Greenhouse is going to benefit from it. We're hearing about some of the wonderful things that are going to be going on on October 5th, some of the fun things that are going to be going on at QCC, and we'll talk about how the students get involved, and we'll even find out a little bit more about some other events that PTK has in the future. That's all still to come on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. QCC's Face the Region continues on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Hank Stoltz, talking today with our friends from PTK here on campus. There's a cookout that is happening on campus. PTK involved in the cookout. Some of the funds from the cookout also going, as we were hearing about, to building this greenhouse on the campus as well, and a great, worthwhile project. Let me start here with Mary Sylvester, who is with us. She is the communications director for PTK, and talk a little bit about so the whole campus is going to be coming. How do you think things like the cookout affect the students and Quinsigamond Community College? Obviously, we've been talking about the fact that some of these funds raised are going to go to the Greenhouse Committee. But this is a great way for all the students to come together at the beginning of the year and for PTK to be out there.
So, faculty, staff, students, they all love it. They come up to us months before school starts. Even at the end of the next cookout, they're already asking when's our next cookout. The reason being is because they like the raffles that we get. But they also like to come out for the activities. We've got Kim that's going to be doing face painting. You know, we're going to have the pictures.
Pictures, yeah, the digital characters.
Kim, what's your go-to on the face painting? Tigers? What is it that most people want?
Well, this is my first time actually doing this
really?
on campus.
Oh.
So I'm trying to stick with the whole gardening theme. So a lot of flowers, bumblebees.
And how does one practice face painting or get into face painting and know that they can be good at face painting? I'm a little nervous for the students, quite frankly, Kim, is where I'm headed with this.
So I've actually had the opportunity to do face painting for several years. So I have a lot of experience under my belt. How I first got started was probably just volunteering at my kids' school. And that was my first time, and it was something that I enjoyed, just to see the smiles on people's faces. So yeah, I kind
you
of
will have
it.
the longest line, I am sure, for people to come and have their face painted. I would think somebody would want their face to be painted like a wyvern. Wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't you think, right? I mean, could you? Yeah, could you do that?
It was on the table.
You could
Yeah.
do it. Was it talked about? Yeah, I bet
It was
that
talked
would be
about
a big one.
yesterday, so I am working on that currently, and I also have the PTK logo that will be on there as well.
Oh, great. All right. So face painting, certainly one of the things, some of the other things that are going to be happening at the cookout. We know that there's going to be some entertainment, some great music. DJ Jazzy James is going to be there. What else is going to be happening?
So the other good thing is President Carberry has actually generously donated two $500 free, tuition waivers for the spring. So 2 lucky students will have a chance to win 2 $500 waivers for their tuition next spring.
That is huge, and this will be President Carberry's last cookout. I'm sure she'll come in the future, but it won't be as the president of the college. So that'll probably be emotional as well.
Mm-hmm. It is. She's one of our biggest supporters here on campus, and the good thing about the cookout is it gives us a chance to show the campus that there's a lot of misconception with us. They think we're a fraternity or a sorority, which we're not. And we want to just rekindle that connection to everybody that we're not like other places. We are all for our campus. We are all for the community. We've done numerous community events. So we're just trying to raise that awareness. And with that, at the same time, talk to potentially new members that would like to be a part of us. There's a lot of misconception. We just did a week ago, we were part of the book club, club fair, and we were actually answering a lot of questions students had about what PTK is. So we're actually
How can somebody become a member of PTK?
So in the fall, in the spring and in the fall, there's a letter that will go out. You have to have achieved 16 college level credits. College level will be anything over 100, and you have to maintain at least a 3.5 GPA. And then in April, we'll have an induction ceremony for all new members and officers. So any member that like to, come up and be a part of the officer team, we have a very great team this year. Christine was just inducted a week ago as a new officer. Mm-hmm. She took an open spot. As I moved up, she moved in. So it.
You know what? It's a good point for me to bop back to Christine for a moment here. Talk about your becoming an officer. And Christine, have you been were you at the cookout last year?
I was not.
You were not. Okay, so this will be the first time for you to be at the cookout. So tell us about becoming an officer of PTK, because you're even wearing a button. You can't see it at home, but she is even wearing a button that says "Ask me about Phi Theta Kappa."
So when I started at Quinsig, I had no intention of really making any friends or doing much of anything on campus aside from
No, that's an excellent goal.
going to classes. Yeah, I know, and it sounds terrible, but look at me now. That is the whole point. Look at me now. I am an officer. It is a great, great organization, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love.
So that's a great story. So tell me what went from I'm going to come here, I'm going to go to QCC, I'll drive in, I'll do my time, I'll drive home, but I'm not going to interact, to now being an officer of PTK. What happened?
I have a drive and a desire to help other people, and that is exactly what PTK is about, and I love that. Also, these people are the most friendliest people I've ever met in my entire life, and they embrace me with open arms, so that is why I'm here.
I do have to say that, Kim, and we're a little bit over time here, but just to wrap it up here, the fact is that as I've had the opportunity over the last 3 years to talk to people from PTK, it is an incredibly welcoming group, and really yourself as well. When we first met, you were not the president of PTK, I believe, but you know, I mean, just yourself, I mean, just it really is, as Christine just said, a very welcoming group.
It is. When I was inducted in 2012, I can honestly say that I didn't expect to actually be in these positions that I've had the fortunate privilege to be in. It was in 2014 that Bonnie had, you know, kind of coaxed me into accepting a leadership role, and since then I've held 3 leadership positions. And so I started out as recording secretary, and then I was the liaison for the Workforce and Development Center. And this year here, I accepted and got elected as the new president. And again, it's yeah.
Yeah, boy, no, it's great. But both of these stories, the one
yes.
that you just told Christine, the one that you just said, Kim, I mean, is great about all the opportunities then that are available to students through joining PTK and the way in which you're able to be a part of campus life. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. We'll run down the cookout for you again, ways in which you can join PTK, and we'll wrap it up with bringing it back to the beginning and asking Samuel once again to just kind of run down a little bit about the Greenhouse Project, which is a great project here on the campus of Quinsigamond Community College. Much more to come on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. QCC's Face the Region continues on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. John Snyder is with us. He's one of the officers of PTK. And, John, just some things that are going to be happening at the cookout that is coming up on a Wednesday, October 5th. Everybody from QCC is going to be there. What are some of the things that are going to be happening that perhaps we haven't mentioned yet in the program today?
All right, so I mean we've plugged the raffle, the live entertainment, the face painting done by our own Kimberly May president. But in addition to that, we're also going to be having a volleyball net that's going to be going on for the entirety of it. Hopefully, I'll be able to jump in at a couple points when I'm not running around, you know, maintaining stuff. And we're also going to be having a professional caricature artist, which is going to be, it's digitalized. Is that going to be on like a tablet? Is that the idea? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
I know they do require power, so I do believe it will be on some type of computer, laptop.
Yeah, so, you know, you won't have to take a picture of it with your phone to put it on your Facebook wall. So.
Well, that is very cool. That's very neat. Listen, before we have Samuel kind of wrap things up with us and talk a little bit and get the timeline for the greenhouse, what are some other events that PTK is going to be involved in that are going to be coming up over the semester?
All right, so on Saturday, October 8th, we're going to be having a campus-wide college transfer fair. There will be 44 colleges in attendance, and we're also going to be having our annual bowl-a-thon on Sunday, November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. at AMF Bowling Lanes in Southbridge. No, that's Auburn. Southbridge Street, Auburn. My mistake. So that's going to be $25 for 2 hours of bowling, shoes, pizza, cold beverages, and, of course, cake.
Of course, cake. You can't go bowling and not have cake at the end of bowling. That goes without saying. All right, so fun stuff anyway. I mean, I think that's the key. PTK, you guys are involved in an awful lot of great events that are bringing people together, and you do a whole world of good, but you'll have a whole lot of fun doing it as well. Samuel, yeah, if we could end, and again, tell me a little bit more about the Greenhouse Committee itself. This is a group of students that got together and put this committee together to push this project along and to go to the officials on campus and say this is something that we need.
Well, it originally started with PTK. and it just has progressed. So every year you keep losing students. So this summer I was brought on, and the group was able to work out a platform and how to actually continue this from student to student as it being student-led project. PTK is holding funding, is being able to kind of manage the project and making sure this doesn't get dropped when we have the new incoming students.
Right. So what's the timeline right now? So this is that's great. So I mean, you've really been able then to carry on what went before. So there are really students who began this who are going to be gone, whether they're off to a 4-year institution or they're off into the workforce or whatever. They won't actually see the finished project, but your committee, your group will have students that hopefully will see it. What's the timeline for this?
Yeah, so we're looking to start construction right now in the greenhouse, hopefully before the snowfall hits. And then during the springtime, we're looking to iron out the kinks, bring on more students, bring on any faculty that would like to be part of the project, any administration that wants to become part of the project. And then by the summertime, the beginning of the summer, we hope to be rocking and rolling.
Well, what has the response been from students and faculty to this project?
It's been a minimum because we haven't pushed it out to the full staff yet. As the faculty that we have talked to, they've been very encouraged. They were very welcoming on the project. The students that we have reached out to are very into this kind of student-led research-based project where they can experiment, explore, and really learn.
Yeah, I have to say I would think that this is something that will really take off, especially once construction begins. One more time, what's going to be inside the greenhouse? It sounded as if there were a whole variety of things that you were thinking about. I mean, can you do that many things inside the greenhouse? How big is it going to be?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember the square footage, but it's big enough for us to put in a hydroponic system, which will be most likely controlled by nutrient film technique, and will also be growing with soil and soil-less mix. So we have a variety of different ways of growing, different ways of monitoring. We'll start to bring in automation. We'll start to bring in monitoring techniques, and then we'll go from there. What
a great project. Hey, so glad that you guys are all involved. Kim, one last time, people want to get involved in PTK and the things that you're doing, how do they go about contacting you?
Absolutely. So there are a few different ways. Either they can stop by the office. The PTK office is located in room 154A of the administration building. Generally, there is someone there Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30. You can contact us via phone. The telephone number is 508-854-4411, or you can reach us at 508-854-7412. You can also reach us via email, and that email address is Phi Theta Kappa at qmail.qcc.edu, and that's PHITHETAKAPPA at qmail, that's QMAIL.qcc.edu.
Everybody got that. No worries. Absolutely. You can look it up on the website as well. Kim May is the president of PTK. Thanks also to Samuel Nestenthaler from the Greenhouse Committee who joined us, John Snyder here, Christine Sherman, and Mary Sylvester. Thanks to all of you for being with us on this week's edition of QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN.
This has been Quinsigamond Community College's Face the Region with your host, Hank Stoltz. Join us again next weekend on AM 830 WCRN.